welcome to another episode of Amazon Ads News and Updates. Today, we're recording live from unBoxed, our flagship event, bringing together all our industry leaders to showcase the innovative solutions that are reshaping how businesses connect with customers and drive growth. Today, I'm joined by two of our partners from e-Comas and xNerda to recap and unpack some of the exciting announcements made here at unBoxed. Welcome, Claudio and June.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks,
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
For sure. So maybe we can start with some introductions. June, do you want to go first?
Yeah, of course. June Choi, Senior Vice President of Sales and Partnerships here at xNerda. A little bit more about xNerda. We're one of the tech providers. We're fortunate enough actually to have won the tech award from Amazon 2 years ago and then the year past for our sponsored ads, AI and AMC. We're a global company. So we have offices outside of the US, London, etc. And we're excited to be here and talk a little bit more about what's new at unBoxed.
Fantastic. Great to have you.
Yeah.
And congrats on your wins.
Thank you.
Claudio?
I'm Claudio. I'm the CTO of e-Comas. We're a full-service e-commerce agency located in the heart of Europe in Luxembourg. Our selling proposition is helping brands expand globally. And our most common use case is helping US brands expand in Europe and tackle the European marketplaces.
Yeah, really glad to have you here. Glad to have you guys here. I'm excited to hear your different perspectives on the announcements made here at unBoxed. Again, from a champion in global expansion and from the perspective of a tech tool provider. So before we dive deeper into a few of the key announcements, tell me what stood out for both of you. Perhaps we can start with you, Claudio, from the perspective of an agency.
Sure. There's two things that I'm quite excited about from yesterday's announcements. One is the ads agent. The other one is the content manager. For an agency like us, when it comes to bringing efficiencies, I think what's key is that we allocate most of the time where it matters the most for the brands that we work with. And that's in extracting the insights and building the strategies to help them grow. So I think the ads agent would help us save quite a bit of time when it comes to using natural language to analyze the campaigns, to even make changes in the campaigns, and also write AMC queries using natural language. When it comes to the campaign manager, I think that would help us save time because we don't have to shuffle in between different interfaces, different logins, different ads accounts. So I really look forward to the efficiencies that both of these tools would provide us with.
Yeah, I like how we're thinking about innovating for our customers. What about you, June?
Yeah, I think AMC, I talk about AMC a lot. My three favorite words all put together, or letters, excuse me, all put together. And I think
There are
overall,
words too.
Words
There
too.
are words
Yeah,
too.
we'll take the words too. And I think overall, I think with AMC, the speed to insights, how we're continuing to build, I really do think AMC is probably one of the biggest things that have come to Amazon ads in the last couple of years. Obviously, it's been here for longer than that, but I think in the last couple of years, it's really picked up steam. And what's happening with the ads agent and some of the other progress that you guys are making, that Amazon is making, that's what I'm most excited for as we continue to see that evolution. The other thing was the full funnel optimization. And I think that's going to be a really compelling thought. And I'm excited to see where it's launched, how it's launched, et cetera. But being able to have all of those campaigns stored in one place in a unified view is something that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, it's good to hear that, we're all excited about the simplification of a lot of these tools. So cool, thanks for that. And speaking of simplification, one of the announcements that I want to bring up is the simplified campaign manager, where we're unifying the Amazon Ads console and Amazon DSP into a single advertising platform. So this is meant to make ad buying and implementation faster, right? Faster, easier, more accessible. So tell me, Claudio, given your experience managing multiple cross-country campaigns, how do you see this announcement influencing you and your advertisers, especially in terms of global buying?
Yeah, I think there's two parts to this. I think there's reporting and there's actions.
Okay.
And for an agency like ours that manages dozens of accounts across different locales, we had to solve this issue of reporting way back. So a couple of years back, we developed our own reporting. So we have that sorted out. However, what we don't have sorted out is when it comes to actions. So the fact that the campaign manager is now able to bring us this efficiency of not having to shuffle in between different interfaces, and the ad managers can now make all the actions that are required within a single UI. I really think that is great, and it would help agencies like us.
That's amazing. And what about you, Jun, as a tech provider? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think as a tech provider, this very closely aligns with how we see the industry moving, how we're building our tools ourselves in conjunction with Amazon ads. I mean, what we've seen is if you streamline a lot of these operations in terms of campaign management, campaign creation, a lot of the time that is now pushed back to the ads managers, you can spend on a little bit more strategic items, right? Because this time savings that these ad managers get, that these agencies get, that these brands get, are now able to be focused on, hey, from a contextual standpoint, from a budget standpoint, from a much more strategic standpoint, we have more time to think about those items because we're not doing the highly manual tasks. So I think as we continue to streamline, as Amazon continue to streamline these ads operations, I think performance, strategy overall will continue to be elevated.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I like that perspective. So let's move on to something that I think is quite fun and exciting. So, we announced the creative agent that has been integrated into the unified Amazon Ads console and that can also now create streaming TV ads. I mean, I can already see this being used for the entire creative process from brainstorming to product research to ad creation. What I think is really cool is that you can also transform existing ads into new formats, like transforming a video ad into an audio ad, for example. So Claudio, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as an agency.
Sure. I think what this does is it helps solve one of the most critical bottlenecks, and that is in video production timelines. So traditionally, brands would take as long as a month or so to come up with one video and then test that one. And if it didn't work, then there's another 1 month that I had to test again. Then this cycle keeps going. So from that perspective, I think the fact that you can now generate one video in less than a couple of hours, I think this is really a game changer. And not only that, but this speed then brings testing velocity. So instead of waiting 1 month to generate one video, you can generate, for example, 5 videos in one day, different products, different messages, have them tested, see what works, and only keep what really makes a difference. So I think this is really a game changer. And I think one of the things that's not necessarily spoken about is the fact that this is free. So for small brands that don't have the budget to generate a video, a product video, I really think this is key, and it would really help them pretty much get to the same speed as the big brands would be. So I think this is great.
For sure. And have you guys started adopting this?
We did not.
Okay. Don't worry, we can cut that out. Great, but yeah, I thought that might be the case, and really good to hear that perspective from you. So what about you, Jun?
Yeah, I think that answer hit the nail square on the head. I mean, I think we've all seen those AI videos that we don't know what's real, what's not at this point, and that's how good it's getting. And so I think those practical applications of testing velocity, I love that answer. I think that's one of the core answers and core things in terms of optimizations, where now these campaigns are going to perform better because you can optimize, you can do many more A/B tests than you were able to before. The other thing that I'm super excited about is it democratizes the ability for video campaigns to be launched. It's not just the enterprise brands, it's not just the upper mid-market. Now there's the ability for smaller brands, folks that are just starting up on Amazon, to be able to test out video campaign creation, video campaign performance, and be able to leverage those campaigns to see if it actually helps drive performance for them where it makes sense. So I think that democratization and Amazon ads becoming kind of the DSP for everyone are very much closely aligned, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
I'm glad that you guys are as excited about that as me. So now let's dive into one more announcement that I thought was pretty important. With the growing complexity of advertising signals and channels, it often requires significant technical expertise and time investment to run sophisticated analyses for insights for our customers. In order to help with this, we have ads agent in the Amazon Marketing Cloud, or AMC, with the new capability, Analytics SQL Query Generation. So this is meant to help users transform business questions into SQL queries through AI-guided exploration and query development. So June, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And maybe if you have some use cases, or if you can think of how AI's impact has been on this space, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think AMC overall, I remember when I was actually back at Amazon when sponsored ads was launching and being on that team and having to convince people to use sponsored ads, and now everybody uses sponsored ads. I see that's where the world is going with AMC. Everybody's going to be using AMC moving forward.
The default.
Exactly. It's the default. It's basically the baseline of where you have to be. And I think a lot of right now with AMC, there's a lot of hunger for education on how to use it. And there's always that technical barrier in the past of having to be able to know how to write SQL, where there's solutions like what you guys have built, what you have launched. There's no-code platforms like ours and others in the space as well that really believe that being able to solve this gap and reduce the technical barrier and being able to drive business insights from AMC without having to code is a really big step forward. I think in terms of practical business use cases, especially with Q4 coming about with AMC, a lot of folks are thinking about how to increase, let's say, the average order value, especially during Q4 where the traffic massively ramps up. If they increase the average order value of their baskets by, let's say, 10, 15%, it's a material impact to their top line revenue for the entire year. And so there's tools like cross-product association where you can literally see what ASINs to bundle together to be able to drive a higher average order value. There's things like customer lifetime value with what you guys have announced with the 5-year look back window that now extends out that value, and you can now use that customer lifetime value metric to be able to optimize ROAS and look at ROAS in a completely different way. And so I think the use cases are endless, from a reporting, from an insights, from a custom audience based tool with AMC. And I think this is just scratching the surface in terms of the education. And as we just talked about, it's going to become the default if it's not already.
Amazing. I remember when I was working for a CPG company, and my boss knew how important these kind of metrics were, but we obviously had no ways to get them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I would try to manipulate every Excel sheet possible to try to give him some weird direction.
That's probably 95% of people right now. They're still trying to get out of Excel. Yeah. So that's probably, I think a lot of people are in that boat right now.
So great to hear that. Yeah. And what about you, Claudio?
Right. So this is really the topic that I enjoy the most out of the announcements of yesterday. The reason for that is I've been a big advocate of AMC from the beginning. We released a white paper as well last year, actually. So I think the way it works now is that it really streamlines the process of getting from a business question to a decision. So I think historically, brands were struggling with the adoption of AMC because they mostly had the instructional query library, but that doesn't necessarily solve it. If you don't have a business question, you're just going to run some queries and expect to get some answers. And maybe the answers would be what you expect. Maybe they will not. I feel like for most of the brands, the answers were not the ones that they were looking for. So now you only need a business question. You transform that into a prompt. Then the prompt will generate the query for you. You get the insights, and then you transform that into decisions. So I think from this perspective, it should really, really help the AMC adoption. I really look forward to that. When it comes to use cases for the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for example, I think what brands can do is use the tentpole analysis or slightly modify that now using the ads agent, because that will show them what worked last year and what can work this year as well. So I think and as John said, there's 1 million use cases, and the fact that you can transform that using natural language, I think this is super powerful, and it will really, really help both brands and agencies.
Yeah, very glad to hear that. And definitely you're as excited about Ads Agent and AMC as I am for the creative agent.
Three favorite words, 3 favorite letters.
That's right.
So very cool. Definitely sounds like, game changer for a lot of players in the space. Thank you so much, June and Claudio, for sharing your thoughts here with us. And to those of you watching, thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time on another episode of In the Know.